Hit me with the intro.
Yeah. Are you ready to get philosophical?
I fucking love this shit.
Beautiful listeners, you are worth all the stars in the sky.
Hell yeah.
And at least 2 perfectly cooked grilled cheeses.
Hell yeah. Does a bear shit in the woods?
Sometimes. He's been known to shit in a liquor tent. Yeah, pick up a book, losers.
Pick up a book, losers.
Welcome to the Based Banter Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Based Banter Podcast. My name is Joey. I will be your host today. And with me, as always, will be the co-host of tonight's episode, Jerry. Jerry, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
What is up, everybody? I'm so glad you've joined us for another amazing, awesome, spectacular episode of the Based Banter Podcast.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know, man, I'm super excited about this. This topic kind of came into my brain on a whim, dealing with some real life shit, and I just felt like, it's a topic that not enough people talk about. But before we dive headfirst into this topic, what have you been into?
Oh shit, he had a little bit of foreshadowing in there. Are you guys ready for the fucking topic?
Are you ready?
No, so this would be an excellent opportunity to go ahead and talk about an update. Update. So previously we released an episode talking about anime. You are one of the most enthusiastic and
Passionate
people I know that listen.
I listen to anime too, buddy. You're
do
not
you
wrong.
listen? Okay, well, you
Solo
watch
Leveling,
it.
Finished all of Solo Leveling.
Okay,
Lovely.
all right. But yeah, an update. So we were talking about anime, and I ended up getting sucked into and just drawn into an anime, and I watched the whole first season, all 28 episodes. And
Ooh, you're in trouble when you binge. Which one was it?
goodness gracious, it was Frieren.
Ooh.
What's that? Beyond the Journey's End or some shit like that?
Yes, sir.
So good, so good.
Yeah, go ahead and give the listeners who haven't gotten to experience this a brief synopsis of what Freeren's about.
Okay, so Friren's about this adventurer. She has experienced a big adventure, and the story kind of takes place afterwards, and it's kind of like following all of the stuff after this big adventure. So we normally watch something and we see the adventurer get recruited on this journey or start this journey, and then it snowballs, and then eventually they take out the big guy. This one is counterintuitive because it starts after that.
Yeah.
But it still just encapsulates you, and it's so freaking good. I can't even begin.
Yeah, man.
Which is funny because throughout the anime episode, I was a little bit of antagonizing you, so I guess I ended up getting my just desserts. So,
Well, man, that's one of those where it's the kind of subject matter, touching on immortality and the consequences of everlasting life, and the drama involved in relationships. That's what I was alluding to that whole episode. And I'm glad you got to experience it, especially with such a fucking masterpiece of an anime.
It's nice to hear that someone else agrees that this was just an amazing one, because I couldn't imagine if it was something everybody universally agreed was subpar, but I was like, dude, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. They're just you don't even know. No,
dude, you should have seen when the awards were given out. I think it was last year or for this year. It came down to Frieren and Solo Leveling.
Oh, goodness.
And both of them are fucking amazing, but in different ways, right? And I think what makes Frieren stand out is its fresh take on storytelling and subject matter, whereas Solo Leveling pretty much does the cookie cutter story, but it does it very fucking well.
Okay, so at this point, I have yet to start Solo Leveling, but I do believe that may be the next one,
Hell
but
yeah.
You're just saying it really hits on the tropes that make that sort of genre really great.
Yeah, man. Solo leveling doesn't really do anything original, but everything they do it very fucking well. And for you listeners who have followed the anime this far into solo leveling, I finished the series, and you are in for some shit. Holy fucking shit, buddy.
Okay. What about you, man? What you been getting into?
Dude, I've been honestly been working a little bit on my social skills, making some new friends, going out, having a good time, meeting some new people, making some memories. With this past Thanksgiving having come and gone, I've been thinking a lot about, what really matters in my life. And
what does matter in your life, buddy?
What really matters. And I started thinking about, what am I thankful for? One, I'm thankful for this podcast. I'm very happy to be doing it. But two, I'm really, really thankful of the people that I have around me. And I think that my life would be better if I expand that perimeter and that radius and invite some more like-minded individuals and kind souls into my life.
And you know what, buddy? It is a privilege, and I don't understate that word at all, a privilege to know you and to be able to call you a friend.
Likewise, buddy. But that kind of is going to play a little bit into this topic I have for us today, because the importance of building that relationship kind of falls back onto your reputation, right?
Reputation.
Yes, sir. So the topic today is going to focalize reputation. And I know that's kind of like a broad term. It's kind of hard to build a topic on something like that. But I think that it's important for the listener and for us too as individuals to reflect on reputation, because it is more important in your life than you realize.
And that all sort of ties into legacy too, right?
Yes, sir.
Because your reputation is kind of like your here and now, but legacy is kind of like the grand scheme of your reputation.
Yes, sir, because we can't take any of these material items with us once we pass. That's why building friendships and relationships and having a good reputation when you pass is the most important thing you can ever do.
Doing good deeds and being kind to your fellow man.
Hell yeah, dude. I fucking love this shit. So
That's a catchphrase at this point.
I'm all about it, man. And, I'll go ahead and give you a little brief story about what made me think about this, because this is the anecdotal portion of it, right?
Yeah, let's hear it.
And I want to ask you some examples. You've dealt with reputation as well. But to get right into this, I was dealing with a situation at work where a specific department of my work had to bring me materials. And I had this issue where a guy flipped me off one day because I was talking to a girl that he liked. And since he couldn't get with her and I was with her, he treated me like shit. So he flipped me off one day, and then a normal day I would let it go, right? I was like, whatever,
I mean, it's just like a very small gesture. It's just kind of like...
It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, I do that with my friends sometimes.
But I think I was a little bit hungry.
He was hangry.
And I didn't handle it well. I approached him, and I got very verbal and confrontational with him. I won't go into detail because I don't like to talk about kinds of my weak sides like that, because it wasn't a proud moment, I will be honest. But I will say this. After the fact, he went and told all the people in his department what big of a piece of shit I am. Then I started dealing with the aftermath, right?
Oh, so this guy had this negative experience with you from where, like, he had this impression of you, like, okay, well, this guy, he's just a flat-out fucking jerk.
Yes.
And even though I already didn't like him from this sort of thing, where he was kind of like my competition, he was winning.
Yes.
Now I have actual tangible evidence. Well, anecdotal, honestly, because who else saw it? Who was the witness?
Right.
And he was able to perpetuate an image of you that was only for him, like to him.
Right. And I didn't do anything crazy. All I did was what any normal person would do, not should do. You should just leave it alone and move the fuck on.
You should have fought him, fisticuffs.
But I let him know, dude. I was like, I'm not the fucking one. And he went and told everybody. And then now I'm calling for materials. I'll either not get materials, or the materials will be placed in a position where it's inconvenient for me, and then it would just drag my productivity out and cause me a headache. And I realized this was because of a damage to my reputation, because these people had no clue who I was. They're hearing a story from a guy who I had a bad interaction with, and they trust him more than me because they know him, right?
So it's more rooted in his feelings towards you.
Yes, which is where
then it came to a point to where you were, you couldn't have known, but it came to the point to where you could have acted with more grace.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Then he just had that ammunition.
Right.
Somebody that could spread the rumors and damage your reputation.
Right.
In turn, took that opportunity, and he did.
And it took me several months to rebuild that reputation, but I'm proud to say I've interacted with enough individuals from that department. They know and they recognize who I truly am and how respectful I am and how kind I am, my actual personality. Look, dude, I'm a nice person, but if you fuck me over, that niceness is a very thin veil between the fire that burns beneath. So, and my dad raised me that way. It's part of just your upbringing, right?
So I have to interject here because here's what I know about the greatest fighters of all time is that they have a level of empathy and understanding, because you can't just fight somebody. I mean, this is the grander scheme, but we're putting it down to just like 1v1, but you can't fight somebody and not love them and understand them to the point to where you know what they're going to do,
right,
and know how to handle them.
And then also, have that humanity to you, right, where we're all on this rock together, right? So we're all out here together, man, and a little bit more positivity goes a long ways. For sure. So what do you want your reputation to be, buddy? Right. So my reputation, I would like for the general people I interact with to come away thinking that's a cool dude. I would like to interact with him again. So it took me, like I said, months to build that reputation with them, but I'm proud to say I've gotten back in good terms with these people. I'm getting my product when I deserve it or call for it. The treatment that I get from them isn't asinine. They're not blatantly disrespectful. But the point is, it took months, months of deliberate.
So just a
possibility, like being positive towards them, and making sure that they knew my real personality.
Just a moment of clouded judgment to where you instigated more conflict with somebody cost you months of having to rebuild your reputation.
Yes, just like how if you were to commit a crime, right? Like you go out, you rob a bank, and then you get caught. And
then you're just known as the bank robber.
Right.
Nobody remembers you for shit, but you robbed that bank that one time, buddy.
Right. And then the act, it took maybe 2 hours, but then you have to spend 2 to 3 years serving that time. That's kind of like how I view a reputation. And I thought, man, now that I've rebuilt this was just one instance in my life. There's many others where I've damaged my reputation, right? But before we, go off anecdotal and start telling a bunch of stories, give me some kind of an example of something that's happened to you in your life where you've dealt with a reputational effect, right? Be it good or bad?
Okay, so I used to have a best friend, someone I called a brother, platonically told him that I loved him, right? So you can imagine there's a closeness and a bond. But a part of me was just blind to the way he would treat other people. I guess I enabled it more than anything, but this guy had gotten this reputation where, if you bring up his name in certain circles, they'd be like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. And it's well-deserved for the shit that he has done, but for the shit that he did, I wasn't involved in it. It wasn't my part. I didn't scheme upon it. It's his own entirely. And in lieu of that, because that happens, my reputation was sullied, where people only associated me with him, and he was this sort of shit person. Like, to put it frank.
Right. Birds of a feather flock together, my dude. So you got to be careful who you choose and pick to be a important role in your life. So you were dealing with some backlash from being a friend of somebody that other people recognized as having, negative tendencies and just having a bad reputation in general. And that kind of affected your life, right?
Yeah. So let me give you the other side of it too, because I didn't exactly see him that way. Like I said earlier, I was kind of blind to it and oblivious. But for me, it was just kind of like, I see this person. I understand where he comes from. I know why he does this. And at the same time, it was almost enabling because I wasn't a stronger force to be like, bro, quit fucking around.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a bit of that falls on guilt on my part.
Yeah, man. No, dude, the best friends in your life will call you out on your bullshit, right? They'll tell you when you're doing wrong. They'll tell you to straighten your fucking act, do better. And that's all because they care about their reputation. They don't want to be associated with somebody who is subpar and not meeting their potential, right? Or
that's
just
called
hurting
standards,
people.
buddy.
Having fucking standards, which we should all have here on the Base Banter podcast. Because, dude, I'm telling you, man, that's part of it. I've had that same experience with a really good friend of mine who had this negative reputation, and I accepted that because none of that backlashed onto me. But I digress, dude. This has been one of those things that people have dealt with since the existence of mankind. It goes all the way back to like the nobles, right? Like if you were a noble, you didn't want to be seen associating with a peasant or like a blacksmith. You'd be like, ugh, you're beneath me. I don't want to talk to you. You're not worth my time. And if you were like a peasant or a blacksmith's son, you would want to fraternize with the nobles to increase your status. Because what is your status but your reputation?
And you know what, buddy? Before we dive into that a little bit further, I would like to do a little bit of a read for some things that we're really passionate about. And we are back. What you know? So, reputation, man, it's kind of a very fickle thing because it is solely reliant on the people that you interact with, and they can have different experiences, like way totally different experience from one person to the next.
Right. It reminds me of that story. There's this old fable which parents tell this to their kids, and I think this is to kind of teach you the lesson of guarding your reputation, right? It's that story about the boy who cried wolf. He would run around the street and then yell wolf, wolf, wolf in the village, and everyone would trip the fuck out and be like, what the hell are you talking about? And there wouldn't be a wolf there.
And he'd be rolling over laughing. Haha, look at all these fools.
He'd be cracking the fuck up about this wolf. And then there was no wolf. But then one day there was a wolf. And he was crying wolf, and everyone was like, look at this little full of shit bastard. And then the wolf came, and it fucked some shit up. And everyone wasn't ready because he was ruining his reputation with that false story and that false narrative. So I think that's part of why we hold reputation so serious, right?
So I want to know something, right? So if reputation is indifference, like meaning it doesn't make you a good or bad person, right? You are a separate entity from your own reputation. Like, why do we naturally seek it? What do you think?
Well, part of wanting to talk about this is I don't think people do naturally seek it. I personally think most people subconsciously think about it. Like, they don't actively think about, oh, my next move or my next action could damage my reputation. A lot of people live in the moment, and they don't act based off of their future self. They react based off of their current self.
Well, maybe it's a part of like some religions to where they would like to have a better reputation, to be known for being a good doer, do-gooder, if you will.
A gooder-duder.
A gooder duder, if you will.
Yes.
Do you will?
You do will.
But, okay, so what is it that really motivates people to do something good if it isn't for the sake of their own reputation?
Right.
Oh, now we're getting into it.
The philosophical side of that is very easy to answer, and it just says you do good because it's the right thing to do.
Because you're a good person.
You're a good person. Do good things happen. Yes.
Do good, he good person.
He
Do
good
bad, he
person.
bad person.
I got the big pussy. Well, never mind. That's a reference that no one will get. But you know those callbacks from like your your teenage years, where sometimes it's like getting a tracer high from a mushroom you did 5 years ago.
Not everybody might relate to that. Though.
The big pussy. Anyways,
He said it again.
he said it again. In case you didn't hear. But basically, yeah, man. I think the focus on your reputation is important because, you know, it is exactly like you said. It's different for each person that we interact with. You might have been going through some shit and then interacted with someone for the first time in the wrong frame of mind, and then they have this perception of you that's not what you would like to have perceived of you.
And I think the biggest lesson of that is to give everybody grace, because you know what, you could have been that dude and you could have been like, this dude's hitting on my chick, like I really like her, like you, and then you're just automatically in that same place where he was. But if we give everybody a little bit more grace and be like, okay, well, I could be creative and try to understand where he came from.
Right.
A little bit of empathy.
A little bit of empathy.
A little bit of empathy.
But, you know, that's kind of a lost art nowadays. Most people are trained to be selfish and to give people, like, what's that phrase? Treat others the way you want to be treated, right?
That's called the golden rule.
I think it's changed. I think now it's treat others the way they treat you.
And what does that do? What does that get you?
It doesn't get you shit. It makes you feel a little bit better about, like...
In the moment. Like an instant gratification.
Yes. And that's just one of the many ways that you could damage your reputation, right? Is not letting some things go.
It's being short-sighted.
Being short-sighted.
Very short-sighted, because you know what? If, like, okay, our lives are very finite. We only live for so long, and we're only in people's lives for so long, because you know what? You may have had a problem with dude. Maybe next week he finds a better job and goes on his way. Like, even then, like, that becomes even more finite in a much more smaller, just expanse of time. And you know what? So what if you're at the store? What if you're driving? Like, what if somebody cuts you off? And, oh, well, that, like, you immediately want to get angry. But you know what? How much is that going to matter in an hour? Or a week, or a year?
Just depends on what happens, right?
But imagine if you're able to put a face and a name to that. How much will that matter? Because you know this person isn't going to be in your life. I mean,
and that's that matter of perspective, right? Because, like, that's the same thing with people who play, like, in Call of Duty lobbies, right? They have that protection behind their controller and their TV, and they have only a mic on, and then they're sitting out there spouting out racist slurs, thinking they're safe in the comfort of their own home, and they're being evil, heinous people. And you don't know these people are like that until you just were like, hey, bro, you like Call of Duty? Let's hop on a game together. Next thing you know, bro's calling out every indigenous person he's met, and he starts being racist as fuck, and you're like, I didn't know bro was like this. Holy shit.
Yeah, and I think, so there's the side of that is sad, too. I just dropped my bottle cap.
Oh, shit.
So there's a side of that too that is really sad, that somebody would have to, like, target, and that's the way that they feel good about themselves. Whereas there's reputation too, because
sad motherfuckers.
You sad motherfucker.
Fuck you, dude.
Get a life, man.
Get a fucking life.
One love.
Pussy ass bitch.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're talking about racist people. We can cuss them out.
Yeah. Sure. Fight hate with hate. That's what Martin Luther King said. Beat them
to death with the kind stick.
Name a stick kindness and beat them to fucking death.
Do better. Is he dead yet?
He should be. So what I'm saying is, though, is that there's a balance of instant gratification and the delayed gratification. And a bit of the delayed gratification has to come with reputation.
Right.
Whereas if you are somebody who is really conscious about what you do and very aware of the way you impact people, that's going to tie into your reputation. We would much rather have a better reputation where people will. So I think it comes down to two things, right? So I think it comes down to either being like respected, revered, and like loved. And then there's the other side of it to where I'd paint this a different color to the people that want to be feared and you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, yeah. Some people pursue that kind of a reputation because they want that reaction from people. They don't want to be liked by everybody. They don't want strangers to respect them. They want you to get the fuck out of their way most of the time. But I challenge that by saying that's not the prime way of living your life. We're meant to love and love each other, not meant to push each other away and be alone and isolated.
And that's the thing, too. You can get into the deep psychological levels because you can peel away some of the levels and they're like, okay, well, why are they like this? Well, maybe they didn't get enough love. They didn't get enough emotional support. And whenever you put it like that, they start to feel really sad.
If they ever get a chance to even get that far retrospectively. Most people that I am aware of that are like that, the clock ticks one way, and they all are just so driven to be that way that it's hard to imagine them ever finding this enlightened point of view where they might make a change like that.
Who is someone that you know that has a glowing reputation?
Someone that I know that, what the fuck?
Whether it be someone you know or someone that like everybody knows, like a famous person. That's what fame is.
Well, I mean, yeah, Keanu Reeves, right? Personally, I don't really know anybody that has an untarnished reputation.
Okay, so there's a little bit
everybody has a little bit of bad in them, or they've done a little bit of bad. And there's always some shit that can be said about somebody, right? But I think that all comes back to most of the people in my life I've known my whole life, right? So throughout years and years of dealing with people, you start to see history and you start to remember things, whereas meeting someone for the first time, you don't really know whether or not that person's going to be a solid person or not, right?
And even getting enamored with somebody, you could look right past everything wrong that they've done.
Right, like a whore might have a reputation of sleeping with fucking 40 dudes in one night, and you're just like, yeah, but she's cool.
Yeah, but she touched my arm.
I think she really likes me.
You know what? This could be the one.
And she might be really cool. Honestly, yeah. She might be the one. You might be the last person she ever gets with. I'm not saying that you don't give these people a chance. In fact, I think that it's the good people, the light in this darkness, that has a responsibility to show this negative aspect of this world and reality, that there is a better way and that you're not given up on. People will still care about you and they still will give you a chance to do better. That's why we have a forgiveness program, right? If you do wrong and you truly are sorry, forgiveness is earned, right?
Okay, so that's getting into a whole nother topic that I'm strongly opinionated about.
Right, again.
And that's about like rehabilitating people that have done crime and criminals.
Right. That's circumstantial too. I do think, and I have a strong opinion as well, that there are certain things that you should never be forgiven for. We won't touch on any of those, but that is a real thing where if you do enough bad, you will be recognized as bad for the rest of your life. And that should be enough of a consequence alone for you not to do it, regardless of the actual activity itself.
Okay, and then that goes with it too. It's like, okay, so I have known criminals that have redeemed themselves. And I've also known people of like the highest valor, like people that have served for the military, also like just be like shit people, like not, I wouldn't say not redeemable, but somebody that definitely needs to redeem themselves. So you have two sides of the spectrum where you have somebody that made a bad choice and they paid the consequences and they did their time and now they're trying to do better. Then you have somebody that made a choice to serve his country selflessly, and then after all that he comes back and is not the nicest person for whatever reason, and he isn't contributing to society and is actually, debilitating. And you get what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. I mean, those are two totally different parallels. I thought you were going to go a different way with it. I thought you were going to talk about like how there's people who do wrong and then try to repair their reputation versus people who do wrong and just don't give a fuck about that.
Okay, so let me try to clue you in on the parallel I was trying to make. Is that if you know somebody who has served, there's an automatic respect and valor that goes towards them without thinking about it. You're just like, thank you for serving our country. It's culturally ingrained.
Right.
And then somebody, if you hear someone's a criminal that has served time, it's culturally ingrained for you to think, okay, well, that's a hardened criminal. That's somebody who isn't going to make good decisions.
Right.
That was the point I was trying to make. It's
right.
One you think is going to do great and like treat everybody well. And
okay,
the other one,
I get it. I get what you're saying now. So basically, yeah, the person who does put that's all.
But that's reputation, because your reputation is subsided by whether or not you made bad choices, or made like quote unquote good choices.
If those two dudes, let's say it was a guy from each scenario, were to try to get a job, right? The dude who got out of the military and now has this terrible look on life, this terrible shitty attitude, and is not empathetic, but he has that veteran status, versus this dude who served time. Maybe he did some identity theft, robbed some rich people, and then he gets out and he has to try to find a job. That's on his record. Those two people will be looked at differently. The one who is an actual piece of shit will get the job because of the status.
And that's what I'm saying. There's a bit of a paradox, if you will.
Right. But then that all comes down to really getting to know someone. And I think, if you're really going to take this topic serious, you really need to you just need to look introspectively and you get to know yourself. And focus on your own reputation and the ways that you can damage it, right? Because committing a crime, sure, you can rebuild your reputation, but it's going to take forever. And then doing something good doesn't mean you will have your reputation forever. So these are some ways that you can damage your reputation, through a pattern of being untrustworthy, being unprofessional, even being like lazy, and just not being having a good work ethic, or having unethical behaviors that erode the confidence and respect of others, right? Talking down on people, bad-mouthing people, spreading lies, gossiping, all of these are different things that, sure, in the moment, they're fun to do and fun to take part of, because who doesn't like sitting by the water cooler talking shit about Samantha who fucking fucked over a fellow coworker, right?
And spit in his drink.
And then you might have just been saying some true shit, but then someone overheard it, and then now they're telling a rumor that you're a shit talker, right? But the point is here, these are some of the ways that you can damage your reputation. Think about some of those activities, and then try to resist it, right?
This is your how-to guide to build infamy.
This is your how-to guide of crossing over to the dark side. Tell lies. Manipulate others for your own selfish gain. Be who you want to be, not what you want to be. Tell everyone, fuck off all the time. Cut in front of old ladies in the grocery store. Don't hold the door open for the lady with the walker. And definitely, whatever you do, don't call any family members or friends and tell them that you love them. They'll hate that shit.
And that's how you build some infamy. That's how you tarnish and destroy your reputation, because what is a good reputation?
Right. But since, you know how I am, man. I'm all about balance and harmony. I'm equal parts good. I'm equal parts bad. I suck as much as I blow. I don't. Okay. To build a good reputation, moving right along from whatever the fuck that was.
Okay, let's start first by defining what is a good reputation.
Well, we done went on the track about how you can build bad reputation. Reputation is your status, which we kind of touched on. It's how other people perceive you, right? It's your energy that is exchanged between the people around you that you've interacted with.
So let me ask you this. What is your idea of a good reputation? If you could build your reputation and people would know you for this, personally. I
don't necessarily want to be known for any one particular deed or act. I would just rather be known as someone who's a good hang and is a very kind person.
Okay, that's a solid reputation and something that is very achievable and worth striving for.
Right. I don't want to be mentioned in a group chat where people are like, "Hey, you guys want to get together?" Joey might come, and everyone's like, "Ooh, I don't know about Joey, but we can leave him out."
Oh, this guy.
Fuck that guy. He's got like, he talks about conspiracies all the time.
Like, doesn't he know 3i Atlas is just a comet?
Doesn't he know aliens are fake?
We built the pyramids.
Who plays video games all the time like that? Doesn't he have a life?
Someone hand him his tinfoil hat.
Look at him. He looks a lot better farther away than up close.
You can say that about a lot of people.
I actually got that, dude. Okay, this is fucking funny. Side tangent. Side tangent. The first compliment I ever got in my life was from the super hot cheerleading girl in my art class who saw a picture of me, and she was like, "You look kind of cute from far away." And I was like, damn. I was like, "It's a win. We won, boys."
You know,
I just gotta stand far away.
The first half of that was a compliment, and we'll take it.
But yeah, so now you know a little bit about how to damage your reputation, a little bit about what reputation is and what it actually means, right? And now we're gonna give you some tools on how you can build your reputation. So, for starters, you need to consistently act with integrity. You need to be reliable, act with competence, while also focusing on good communication and positive relationships. You need to be there for people. You need to speak your mind wholeheartedly and communicate. Don't tell lies, keep your promises, and then demonstrate that integrity. You know, act with honesty and high ethical standards. These are just some of the obvious fucking ways, right, that you should fucking just do naturally, but for some of us, like myself, I have to actively think about some of that shit sometimes.
This is like a big duh.
Duh, dude. What are you doing? Why aren't you with it? Lock the fuck in, bro.
Just be a good person, you dummy.
Lock the fuck in, Bobby.
But okay, so who does reputation matter to the most? Your, like, one person's reputation. Who does it matter to the most?
It should matter to you. Your reputation should matter to you. Not really to everyone else, right? Because if you get your reputation right within yourself, that should translate to everyone else.
It's about accepting yourself, too. Because if you have a reputation and you're just like, no, I'm not that person, I never did these things, you're living in disillusion. You are trying to portray yourself as somebody that you actually are not. And then that same goes on the other side, too. Because if you are acting around like a healer, like not a healer, but a hero.
Give me some healing. I'm healing.
Heal them. So, but like stolen valor, I mean. So if you're acting like you're a hero, you're obviously not. And there's still that disconnection of who you are and who you think of yourself to be. But if you can find that middle ground of reputation, be like, okay, well, I would be satisfied with people thinking of me as like a good friend, a good listener. Like, that's a solid reputation. Then I would consider that like a good reputation. I would consider that something that you can definitely strive for and achieve.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think, this goes back to a topic we talked about a while back. It was kind of like it's easier to do bad than it is to do good, right?
Oh, for sure. So, we could go on that too.
So without worrying about that and actually putting in the effort to rebuilding your reputation, having a good reputation, you'll take the lazy route and just do whatever is the easy thing, and that sometimes comes with that negative reputation connotation.
But I believe anything that is worth it will require hard work.
And anything that is worth it is hard to do. I agree with that, man.
It is hard to do, and it requires some thoughts.
Yeah, nothing good ever came easy.
And thinking hurts, man.
It hurts.
Considering people hurts, man.
Well, people do hurt, and for those people who are hurting right now you have tools to build your reputation so you don't hurt so much.
At least the concepts of a plan.
At least a concept. I mean, we're not professionals here, so go out and seek professional help. While you're doing that, we're going to take a break and give you some of the weird news that has happened all around the world and America, and that will be a part of this new segment we have today called based news.
Breaking news brought to you by the Based Banter Podcast. This is Based News.
Welcome to another episode of Based News. This will be a brief breakdown of the news that's happened from around the world. So tune in every episode of the Based Banter Podcast for your weekly Based News. So, to start this news broadcast off today, we have a report of a raccoon getting drunk in a Virginia liquor store and passing out. Talk about getting wild and out with your partying.
Local raccoon and also other raccoon news was seen stumbling around the cherry tree. It seems the cherries weren't the only thing getting fermented.
Other news, offbeat. Wait, what news? A story circulated this year about a man in the U.S. who accidentally bought an entire ghost town, thinking he was just bidding on a storage unit. Suddenly, he owned 22 buildings and 40 acres. Talk about starting your own city and being your own mayor. Who wants that shit?
And in Asian news, there was enough rice this week to feed enough people. But did it get to those people? I don't think so.
Womp, womp, womp.
Womp womp.
And the news from out of this world, there has been record of lightning on Mars. Shocker.
And to wrap this up, in historical news, this will be another beginning to another Christmas.
This has been Based News.
All right, welcome back.
That was Based News, buddy. Keeping it based, keeping you in the loop on everything that's going on. That matters.
Keeping it based, keeping it news.
Keeping it news, keeping it based. All right, man. So, we talked a little bit about how you could build your reputation, how you could damage it, some anecdotal stuff. I want to dive into some of our old segments that we used to do. We used to have some hypothetical questions and some fun facts that we would wrap around a topic. I want to do that with reputation. So
that would be amazing if I had any bit of preparation to this. So what do you got, buddy? Start it off.
Let me interview you, and while I interview you, I'll let you pull up some fun facts. I'll hit you with some hypotheticals, and if you have some hypotheticals you can bring up off the dome, or if you have a chance to pull them up, dude, feel free to chime in between my questions. So let's go ahead and get started. I think you even asked me one hypothetical already.
Already did. You glanced over it, buddy.
If your reputation reset to 0 tomorrow, what's the first thing you would do to rebuild it?
I would fight everybody.
He would go on a punching spree.
So they knew I was the baddest, that I can't be fucked with.
He's John Wick, Baba Yaga, buddy. Don't fuck with him.
No, but seriously, I would like to be known as like a good friend, a good listener, somebody that you can lean on and build rapport with. I think that would be a good reputation. That's how I would do it.
Hell yeah. Wait.
What about you, buddy? Right back at you.
What would be the first thing I would do? I would immediately walk out the door and just start being kind to everyone around me, right? Or I would start punching everybody, just fucking waylaying into them.
Whatever happens first.
Depends on if I've eaten or not.
He gets hangry. Okay, so let me hit you with a fun fact real quick. You hit the hypothetical, I hit the fun fact. So, fun fact about Taylor Swift's reputation, released in 2017, it was inspired by Game of Thrones. Who would have thought? So, was heavily influenced by watching Game of Thrones and revealed that her approach, she actually, it was specifically with the themes of vengeance and shifting loyalties. Yeah.
Okay. I see you, Taylor. Big ol' J.R.R. Martin fan, are we? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He knows the author.
I do know the author. If you could swap reputations with someone for a week, who would you pick and why?
Oh, who could... Okay, so this goes two ways. Who could I make look better and like help redeem them.
Yeah, you could damage their reputation too.
Or I could make somebody that I don't like. I could absolutely impact their reputation. So you know what? I feel like if I say any names, it's gonna put us on a list.
I'll give you a name. I'll tell you exactly how I feel about it. I don't give a fuck about being on a list.
Okay, so number 1. He's already damaging his reputation, but Mr. Beast.
Okay. All right.
I know it.
Okay.
I've never really been into it. I've never
What would you do?
drank the Kool-Aid.
So what would you do if you were Mr. Beast? If you had Mr. Beast's reputation, you could do whatever you wanted with it.
Okay, so he has money, right? So if I was Mr. Beast, I'd make a YouTube video where I would buy. Now, mind you, this is to damage his reputation, not my fucking soul desires.
You don't want to make the world better. You just want to make him burn.
I just want to make him burn. So this is not my desires. This is not my plans or intentions, what I would do. But if I was Mr. Beast, Jimmy, I would buy like an animal rescue or like a veterinary clinic. And I'd be like, how many of these puppies can we burn to the ground?
Oh my God.
And then just like set it all on fire and be like, that cost me $58,000.
And then the video ends.
And then the video ends and
music.
then people are so fucking confused. They're like, what the fuck was that new video? And they'd be like, and then I'll still have a little bit more time in his body, right? And then we're coming after retirement homes.
Oh God.
We're doing like a Squid Game, but instead of like people winning, it's just like Mike Tyson running around like death punching everybody.
He's like, I see you are. Hold on. Sorry, Mike. I'm doing my best here. I see you have a catheter. Let me help you with that catheter. Yank.
And you know what? Those two videos, maybe the world could see Mr. Beast for who he truly is.
Dude, try to imitate Mike Tyson and say catheter. All right.
Tyson. Mike Tyson. I say catheter.
Oh, we're both gonna get beat the fuck up.
That's a lisp.
Okay. Anyways, if you have a lisp,
I love
I'm
pigeons.
not hating.
For the record, I love pigeons.
I love pigeons. I love turtles. Anyways, yeah, I would take Jeff Bezos. And I would just take all of his money. I would bankrupt him in one night and then give all of the money to the homeless or I would make a stimulus for the American people.
Give it to one homeless person.
Dude, make him a billionaire overnight.
Overnight. You are now the CEO of Amazon.
All right. So, yeah, that was my hypothetical.
Okay, so let me ask you, buddy. So let's get a little philosophical here. So the actual mechanism of reputation is one of the oldest and most powerful forces of human history.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When you say it like that.
It's a big fucking statement, dude. That puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
Let's break the fourth wall for a second. Right as soon as we turned the tape on to start recording and I mentioned that our topic was reputation, it didn't hit me until that moment where I was like, there's actually like heavy weight behind this.
There's some big implications talking about
huge,
reputation.
Dude.
So cleaner fish have have reputation systems. So it's not just humans.
The shit eaters are important too.
Right. So let's go into more biological shit because we're just talking about ourselves. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the reputation of biology.
Oh, human race, blah, blah, blah. No, we share the planet with a lot of other biological specimens.
Right,
so
like
fish.
dolphins have a great reputation, but sharks, dude?
I have a song about dolphins. Okay.
Why are the frogs gay? What's that about?
Look, y'all are going to have to buy our, give a subscription to our Patreon because you will not regret it. That is a great time. But cleaner fish, right? Fish that clean, they have a reputation system. So it's not just humans, like I was saying, but in the ocean, cleaner fish eat parasites off of larger client fish.
And people hate them. They're like, dude, fuck those little fish ass
fuck
bastards.
the bottom feeders. But studies show that if a cleaner fish bites a client, like cheats, other fish watching will refuse to visit that cleaner. So they can already see, they can literally track who has a bad reputation for service. And that's in a biological, ecological sort of sense of the word reputation.
No, I like that, because I wasn't thinking about it in the ecological aspects, right? Like, mushrooms, they have a reputation. You look at a mushroom and the first thing you think of is, if I eat that, is it going to kill me or give me a great night?
That's... Yes. Okay.
Right? Or a thorn bush.
Yeah, you get the point. You get the point.
You see a thorn bush? I'm like, I'm not walking through that bitch.
Because mushrooms... They have conversations through their mycelium.
Oh, you think they're talking shit?
They're talking shit, and they're like, you see that over there, that dude over there? Oh, yeah, he's going to rot first.
Like, this motherfucker's out here in the woods hiking in Crocs. What the fuck, dude? Put some boots on. What's wrong with you? You're going to get poison ivy.
They'll be like, I hope he eats me first. All right. Hypothetical or fun fact, buddy? What you got?
Okay, so here's a fun fact for you. Humans evolved to care about reputation because group survival depended on trust.
Oh, trust.
Hell yeah.
See, trust takes months, years, decades to build, but it can be destroyed within a matter of seconds.
Some sex.
It can be destroyed with sex, because if you're not sexing with the right people,
dude, for sure, you can have one bad night with a person, and they're like, "You fucking suck at this shit." Like, no, dude, I had fucking Taco Bell before I came over. Like, give me a break.
Be like, it's the dog.
I'm having an allergy attack.
I swear she was coming on to me.
Rumors often spread faster than facts, shaping reputation inaccurately more quickly. That's another fact.
But do they spread faster than foxes? Because foxes can be quick.
What does the fox say? Ding 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 ding. There you go.
Tune in next week to see if Joey's dated references actually meet up with the present timeline.
Open Gundam style. I don't know how it goes. Likability often affects reputation more than competence. Sometimes you can be a likable person who does shitty things, but your reputation will not be affected. How about that?
Okay, so if Keanu Reeves went out here and
slapped a midget.
A
little person.
He called him a midget to their face.
Oh, shit, not the M word.
And slapped him. Do you think his reputation would survive that?
I don't know, dude, because then, that's a good fucking question.
Because we have people that have shitty reputations, and we watch them just do worse and worse things.
Like Jack Doherty or whatever. Like, he gets arrested, and we're like, checks out.
I dare say we're going to... Well, no. Do I cross over that threshold of political... Let's not
veto that.
Yeah, we're gonna veto this. But I have seen people with bad reputations do awful things, and it just becomes normalized. And you're just like, okay, well, that's just a shitty thing this person does.
Right, and then sometimes your like epic good reputation and good honor system can draw the wrong attention from people who focus heavily on negative reputation. Right, like Martin Luther King. Right.
Okay.
Like he was one of the best human beings as far as voicing his freedom of speech, standing up for the people who were being abused and belittled, and then putting himself out there. And then what happened? He was assassinated. And his reputation would not reflect somebody who would be taken out like that. He had a great reputation amongst many people of all colors. But
then it was reputation versus reputation, because everything that he stood for and he was an activist for was sullying the reputation, so to speak, for the people that were in power, the people that was holding this power over people. Because you know what? If we're all divided, we can't all stand up against the powers that oppress us.
Hell no.
Hell no.
And that is the biz.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got another hypothetical for you, and I think this one is also pretty important because I think that a lot of artists, they may think a specific type of way, and this is reflecting. So, if you had to pick between a great reputation now or a legendary reputation 200 years after you died, which one would you choose?
The fourth wall.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jerry Contrite. I come to you from the safety of my own home.
This is Joey Arcano Joe at Twitch. You can find me and watch my streams, and I will do skate for 4 hours on one spot.
And I will go bowling, and I will hit a strike and then turn around and do a little dance. And if you didn't see it, I'll do it again just to make sure.
Yes, sir. All right. So now,
well, did you answer the question?
So now the bald and the blonde have spoken.
Okay.
So, do you like etymology? Did I just bypass your whole ass?
Bypassed the whole question.
Look, and I fucking ratted on myself, but my consciousness would not let me.
This sounds like, have you ever seen that meme of the picture of the dude's leaning in, whispering in the girl's ear, and she's like super fucking annoyed? That's the question he's asking. He's like, do you like etymology?
But do you, though?
I don't even know what the fuck that is, dude.
So etymology is the study of words and where they come from. So reputation, right? So the word comes from the Latin reputoire. So repertoire.
No, you had it right. Reputoire. It's reputoire.
So that sounds very French. So French. The suffix re comes from repeatedly.
Ooh.
And then putar
makes me think about retard a little differently.
Okay. And then putar means to think, count, or to calculate. So literally it means to calculate over and over again. So that implies that your reputation isn't a fixed badge, right? But a score that people are constantly recalculating based on your latest actions. So what do you think about that in your whole reputation formula?
I'm having to ask the question, since you had me stuck on and then etymology, I had to look up what tard meant because, if is repetitive, what is, this is terminology from.
Okay. And then also it would be interesting too to look up bastard.
Ooh, what is the bass? And then tard. Tard means something, dude. I'm trying to figure it out.
Look, etymology nerd, if you listen to our podcast...
Ooh, a libtard.
For whatever reason, dude. Please come on, be our guest. It'd be hilarious.
Look, none of this is to disparage anybody. I'm just breaking down a definition of terminology right now. Yeah. Man, I think we've touched on a lot of really important things. And I think that, we could all stand to focus a little bit more on our reputation. Like for instance, just now, I made a joke that I think is a lighthearted joke, trying to look up a word that could have a negative aspect on how my reputation is viewed, right? That is a live example of how you just are in the moment, having fun, goofing off, making a joke, and then you don't really mean anything by it, but it could hurt somebody.
You built your reputation for 5 and 6 episodes, and
you were canceled.
10 seconds.
Canceled.
10 seconds. Watch it all burn to the ground.
Like, what's his name, dude? The guy with the glasses and the wig. Oh, fuck. You know who I'm talking about, right? The streamer. Oh, fucking hell, dude. His reputation got fucked because he was talking to minors, apparently. Allegedly. And, he was everywhere, dude. You don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
With the wig?
Yeah, he wore the black wig, had the glasses. Hold on, I'll Google it for you. But anyways, he is one of those people who, for years and years and years, was a very popular streamer. And he had this one incident come out, and, it's Dr. Disrespect, if you didn't know.
Oh,
yes.
He crashed his car. Do you remember that controversy?
But anyways, he had some controversy, and it damaged his reputation. And I'm sure that affected his money. Kanye West, same thing. These are just people who, it doesn't take long. It could take you your whole life to build your reputation. But
and Drake
even, dude. Kendrick Lamar. Buddy.
Roasted his ass.
Cooked him alive. Sizzling.
So whenever I hear somebody listening to Drake, dude, I feel embarrassed for you.
I probably strike the chord. Call it A minor.
That's it. It's
dude,
one of the...
he's fucking... Dude,
a rap battle is just two grown-ass men writing poems about each other. I just want everybody to understand the full weight of this.
Yeah, one's trying to fuck the reputation of the other one up. And rap is one of those businesses that is heavily affected by reputation, right? Most of your aspects in life will be affected by reputation. How far you go with your life, how successful you are, and the people that you meet and who you know. It all comes down to, do I want to know this person? Is it going to help me, or is it going to fuck me over?
Okay, so the biggest takeaway I have for this episode is to be mindful, because we are aware of our own reputations, but we should be aware of other people's reputations and try to understand
exactly
where they came from to get to this moment, to where they are acting like this. You know, it could be a lapse of judgment. It could be a bad day to where they're just like, all right, well, we're going to go there. But then it could just be like, they have done everything else right and they have been kind to everybody, but then you just kind of catch them on a wrong day where everything just isn't going their way.
Right.
So we have to be a little bit empathetic for everybody.
Right.
We have to understand that we may hear somebody's reputation and we may hear everything that they're capable of, but if we aren't proactive and figure out who somebody really is, how will we know for sure?
And you have to protect yourself. You have to have those standards. You have to recognize this immediately. And, like you said, focus in on it, and then hold people accountable. Be the good friend. And then don't hold the guilt later on where you wish you would have said something. You could have made a difference. And you could help this person rebuild their reputation. Because as long as you've not done anything heinous in your life, I don't care how terrible you are, it's never too late to turn your life around and be a better person. To be a better people. And that's what we're all about here. Focus on yourself. Build yourself up. Keep your reputation healthy, stay healthy, and follow us on all of our socials. You can find us at Instagram, Base Banter Podcast, Facebook, Base Banter Podcast, Base Banter Podcast on Gmail, as well as if you want to catch our latest episodes, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Just type in the Base Banter Podcast, and you will see a new episode every week, buddy. We keep it rolling. My name is Joey. If you want to keep in touch with what I've got going on outside of the podcast, you can find me on Twitch at Arcano Joe. And Jerry, go ahead. If you have anything else to add it now. If you want to plug anything, plug it now.
I've got to say, Joey, what a wonderful episode. What a thought-provoking topic. And just a great time just discussing this and just taking the piss with a good friend.
Hell yeah.
If you would like to find me and keep the conversation going as well, you can find me on Instagram at Jerry Contracts. And so with that being said, buddy,
that's it. This has been another episode of the Base Banter Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. As always, keep the conversation going. Peace.
Peace.